December 26, 1996, Boulder, Colorado. The Ramsey family mansion is silent except for the sobs of a mother who has just discovered a ransom note. A little girl 6 years old is missing. Her name? JonBenét Ramsey. Within hours, the story will become a national obsession. A beauty queen, gone. A ransom letter, bizarre and chilling. And then, the unthinkable discovery in the basement. This wasn't just another crime. It was a case that gripped America, exposed cracks in the justice system, and left haunting questions that even today remain unanswered. JonBenét Patricia Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia. She was the daughter of John and Patsy Ramsey. Her father, a wealthy businessman and president of Access Graphics, had built a successful career. Her mother, a former Miss West Virginia, was deeply involved in her children's lives, particularly in JonBenét's budding career as a child beauty queen. The Ramseys were the picture of American success. They lived in an expansive home in Boulder, Colorado, decorated with the trappings of wealth, crystal chandeliers, winding staircases, and a basement that seemed more like a labyrinth than a family storage space. But behind the facade of luxury, there was pressure. Patsy Ramsey wanted perfection on the pageant stage and in the home. And JonBenét, with her blonde curls, bright smile, and undeniable charm, became a fixture in child beauty competitions. She was adored, envied, and showcased. Christmas of 1996 was supposed to be a time of joy. The family attended a party, exchanged gifts, and looked forward to traveling after the holiday. No one could have imagined that within hours their lives and the country would be shattered. The morning after Christmas, Patsy Ramsey awoke around 5:30 a.m. to prepare for the family's trip. Walking down the spiral staircase of their mansion, she spotted something unusual. A 3-page handwritten note lay on the steps. It was a ransom letter demanding $118,000 for the safe return of JonBenét. The amount was oddly specific, almost the exact bonus John Ramsey had received that year. Patsy screamed, "Joan, they've taken her." The police were called immediately. At first, it looked like a kidnapping. The letter warned, "Do not contact the police or authorities. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies." But in her panic, Patsy had already dialed 911. Older police arrived. The house filled quickly, neighbors, friends, even a family minister, contaminating what should have been a tightly sealed crime scene. Mistakes began piling up, mistakes that would haunt the case forever. Hours passed. FBI agents prepared for a ransom negotiation, but the kidnappers never called. By early afternoon, detectives instructed John Ramsey to search the house for anything unusual. What he found would change everything. In the basement, in a small room behind a latched door, John discovered the body of his daughter. JonBenét was lying on the cold concrete floor. A white blanket partially covered her small frame. Her wrists were bound with cord. Duct tape covered her mouth, and around her neck was a garrote weapon fashioned from a paintbrush handle and nylon cord. The 6-year-old beauty queen was dead. The house that had been buzzing with chaos fell into stunned silence. This was no kidnapping. This was a murder. The investigation into JonBenét's death quickly spiraled into one of the most controversial and mishandled cases in American history. Police zeroed in on the family. The ransom note raised immediate suspicions. Handwriting experts concluded it was almost certainly written by someone inside the house. The note's tone was strange, mixing movie-like dialogue with unusual details. It began, "Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We are a small foreign faction," and demanded a ransom far too close to John's actual bonus to be coincidence. Detectives believe the scene looked staged. The garrote seemed like an elaborate prop rather than a practical weapon. The ransom letter was unusually long, over 350 words, unlike most real ransom notes. But then there was the intruder theory. Some investigators argued that an outsider could have broken into the house through a basement window, committed the crime, and written the note to confuse police. Evidence was contradictory. DNA found on JonBenét's underwear didn't match anyone in the family. Yet the Ramseys' behavior only deepened suspicion. Instead of fully cooperating with police, they hired attorneys and a PR team. John and Patsy gave media interviews but delayed formal police questioning. In one interview, Patsy, wearing bright makeup and a stiff smile, pleaded to the camera, "We need to find out who did this. There's a killer on the loose." To some, she looked like a grieving mother, to others like an actress delivering lines. Theories splintered into three camps. The parents did it. Many believed Patsy accidentally killed JonBenét, perhaps in a fit of anger, and staged the scene. John, the protective father, helped cover it up. The brother did it. 9-year-old Burke Ramsey was suggested as the possible killer. Some theorized he lashed out in jealousy or anger, and the parents covered for him. When interviewed years later, Burke's odd smile and detached demeanor fueled speculation. An intruder did it. Others argued that DNA evidence pointed to a stranger who snuck in. One suspect, a local school teacher named John Mark Carr, even falsely confessed a decade later, though DNA cleared him. Detectives searched for fibers, footprints, fingerprints, but the contaminated crime scene meant much of the evidence was useless. The case dragged on. In 1999, a grand jury reviewed evidence against the Ramseys and voted to indict them on charges of child abuse, resulting in death. But the district attorney refused to sign the indictment, claiming lack of proof. The Ramseys were never formally charged. Instead, they lived under a cloud of suspicion for years. Patsy Ramsey died of cancer in 2006, still protesting her innocence. In 2008, prosecutors announced that DNA testing had cleared the Ramsey family once and for all. But critics argue the DNA evidence is inconclusive, and questions about the family's involvement remain unresolved. Outcome and aftermath: the murder of JonBenét Ramsey became one of the most sensational cases in modern history. News outlets covered it relentlessly. Tabloids splashed the family's faces on their front pages. True crime shows, documentaries, and books dissected every detail. The case also exposed deep flaws in the American justice system. The Boulder Police Department was accused of tunnel vision, focusing too heavily on the Ramseys and ignoring other suspects. The crime scene mismanagement, allowing neighbors to walk freely inside. Failing to seal off evidence meant critical clues were likely lost forever. For the public, JonBenét became a symbol. She represented innocence destroyed, beauty exploited, and mystery unsolved. Her face, smiling from pageant stages, contrasted horrifically with the details of her death. Today, her case remains open. Police occasionally revisit the evidence, and new forensic technologies spark hope of a breakthrough. But nearly 3 decades later, no one has been arrested. No one has been held accountable. Closing reflection. JonBenét Ramsey's murder is not just a cold case. It's a wound in America's memory. A little girl full of promise taken in the most horrific way. A family forever under suspicion. A justice system that stumbled when it mattered most. And so the mystery endures. Was it a parent's cover-up? A brother's secret? Or a shadowy stranger who slipped in on Christmas night? One truth remains. JonBenét's voice was silenced, but her story continues to echo. What do you think happened? Leave your theory in the comments. Stay tuned for more uploads. Like, comment, and subscribe.